Hello and welcome, it's Kosh here again at Granite City RC, and today I've got Senton up on the bench. I've had a couple of little issues and things, mainly not the car's fault, so I thought I'd have a look at this and see if we can possibly modify a few things and change a few things out. One thing I did do last time I was out was, split that. But also just having a look at this the other day, I did that bit as well. So some of this I can fix, some of it's going to be fixed pretty soon. I think for this part what I might do is I might try and get some plastic cement and see if that holds up better. Or at least better than using something like super glue, which I have tried on this bit when that was originally broken a couple of weeks back, which didn't hold the last time I was out, and the last time I was out did the other side. But I do have a friend with a 3D printer, so thanks Tim, he's printing me out and getting a replacement part for that front, which make it a little bit stronger. But the biggest thing which went wrong was the servo died. I mean, it is still under warranty, but to be honest I don't really want a replacement one of those because I think they're only 7 kilograms stock from Arrma. So to sort that, new servo. It's probably not the strongest or fastest. What are you, 21.8 kilogram, 0.16 second speed to it. So anyway, as I said, there's stronger and faster, but for my price range that's what we're going for, and waterproof as well, so that should in theory keep it going a bit longer. But because we're moving to that servo, new servo horn, these are easy enough to replace. I did that in the Granite as well, I think probably with the same servo to be honest. But one more thing I'm going to try, because I do obviously like jumping this about a little bit, gone ahead and got some heavier weighted oil. So this is, I think, a 57 weight, 750 CPS. Again, one of the cheaper ones out there, but in my price range. So I'm going to go ahead and see if we can get that into the shocks. Obviously get the servo horn replaced, that one out, and I guess a little bit of tidying whilst I'm going around, because it just collects dirt and everything as we're going. So whilst I'm stripping bits down, I'll just kind of, go at it with an old paintbrush and just try and move some of the debris out of the way. So yeah, that's going to be today's experiment. Like I said, I think the shock oil could do with being replaced, because I think it's only 40, which comes as stock out of the box in all 4 shocks. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's fine for driving around a nice tame course and things, but like I said, I do jump things quite often, and start to pick up some battle scars on the bottom there, so we'll see if that'll help with limiting as much grounding out as it jumps and slaps the chassis onto the ground. It's worth a try anyway, a bit of experimentation, but I might use the same oil down in the Granite as well, which I did eventually send that ESC off for testing and possible replacement or whatever, but that was only a couple of days ago. That's once I remembered. So hopefully I'll hear back from the suppliers at some point soon for that. But anyway, in the meantime, let's get on and mess around with this, and yeah, let's go at it. So if you haven't replaced the servo in these yet, lucky you, but the way to do it is there's screws you can access down below. I think it's a 2mm 2mm on here, aren't you? So we'll just start getting everything out. I mean, it does have access holes here, which is a nice thing to have. But again, it is a trap for dirt and debris going about the place. Nope, I've just lost a washer in there somewhere. We'll turn that upside down and find that in a minute. So yeah, I mean, nothing wrong with this horn, but it's 23 tooth, and awkwardly no one really uses 23 teeth, apart from Spectrum, I think. Most of the ones that you can find for a reasonable price are going to be 25 tooth Servos. But you know, it's always handy having spare pieces, so I'll save the Servo horn anyway and put that in a spare box somewhere. But yeah, the Spectrum, this S651, again, it should be a waterproof thing, but they're only 7kg servos, and I mean, they just seem underpowered for the cars, really. What can you do? Anyway, bin with that one. But whilst it's open, let's try and have it dust out with anything that's lurking in there. I mean, the best way probably is remove the electronics and then hose it down, which I could do actually in this state, but it's frozen out the side, so my hose is frozen as well, and it's pointless trying to do that. But I think next round of maintenance I'll take all the electronics out and try and give it a good clean. Because it's a short course truck with the body over the wheels just throw everything back inside the body in the chassis. Maybe give that a quick wipe down. I remember what we need. We need the little arm off here as well. I probably should actually go get my little servo twister whilst I remember, so we can centre everything. Okay, servo tester. Oh, before I forget, we'll attach this and just pop it on the new servo sleever, servo horn, whatever you want to be called. Yes, you want it tight enough, but still have free movement on the little arm there. And again, if you don't have a little servo tester, which are great little things, just like that, you can plug this into the car, plug in a battery, turn it on, and that should then centre the servo as well. A packet of junk, which I'm not going to use, which should hopefully put up with a little bit more abuse than the standard stock one. There we go. So I don't know if you can see, but this little servo, you can either have it rotating any way, press a button that centres it for us. So as much as I remember, the arrow indicated on the little horn, if you can see, little arrow there, should be straight up. So yep, our servo is working perfectly. It's time to get this into place. And like I said, you probably should have this black bit on last, or at least last for getting past this bit, because it's just going to be awkward. Okay, now we'll go with plan B, as I was going to do originally, and take this back off. This might need to go around the other way actually. I'm just going to check with Granite just so I can make sure I've not gone mad. So yep, I think I have this on the wrong way round. So we'll get it taken off and reset. I knew that arrow pointed somewhere, it's pointing the other direction. And it's not vertical, well it is vertical but on the downward side that it needs to go in. So yep, that's about as close to centre as I can get it on the teeth. Oh, I was wondering why it was more difficult getting that bit on. Like I said, I think the more you work on these things, the more familiar you're going to get with how everything comes apart. So in that case, it's probably going to be worth getting this bit off so we can reattach it in an easier location next time. The second time I've replaced a servo in one of these BLX units. Hopefully I'm not going to get too used to doing it. And now it should work a little bit easier. Perfect. Okay, that's feeling good there. So, yep, just those 4 screws to each side sorted. Right, and the next bit is lining up the 2 holes. And the best way to do it really is just use your hex driver to line everything up. And then you should be able to just screw it through the top here. Right, but now we can go ahead and start feeding all these wires back in through the little red slip, which is kind of the waterproofing colour for the receiver. Also, you want to make sure that you're not trapping any wires on the case. Did I double check that? I don't think I double checked that, but I'll just maybe double check that I'm not cramping any wires on the casing. Right, so that should be the servo replaced and sorted. I'll go get battery with the right connector, which I don't have to hand, and I'll just make sure that that all works fine. Battery in, power on, fans both working, that's good. And yeah, rehab steering again. So obviously it's pulled things out a little bit, so we'll maybe need to use the trim to adjust things. So the wheel's coming out a little bit. So yeah, all the steering trim, and now it looks a lot happier and still runs, which is always a good sign. So yep, I guess that's part 1 dealt with. I probably should try and do something. There might be a bit of water in those tyres, and maybe take them off and dry them out. Well, actually you can't really do that, apart from maybe sitting on a radiator. Although if I do remember, there are small holes in the tyres so you can actually spin it and it should throw out water. Getting distracted, I'll put that to one side and we'll get on with the main test of today really. That was just a little bit of maintenance getting the new servo in, so that should keep that going fine. Right, the next bit is something I haven't done before, which is opening up these shocks, but I did watch a video somewhere, and so it should be pretty straightforward from what I remember. So yeah, I'm just going to quickly grab a cup of tea and we'll get on with replacing some shock oil. I have something to empty old oil into. I might actually cut that down a bit because I don't need. So yep, something to empty oil into. Like I said, this is something close to 60. Was it 57? It says. So yeah, we'll give this a try. So I haven't actually done these shocks before, so it's going to be a little bit of a learning experience, but easy enough to take off. Just your 2 mounts top and bottom. So I'll probably just show doing one just in case you haven't done it before and you see what I'm doing. It's something close to what you're supposed to do with them anyway. So I think there is a washer on this bottom one to watch out for, so don't lose that. You put it back in so I know where they go, and then that means I don't lose it as well. Keep on sweeping this off so I don't get mud everywhere, sand and grit. So for these shocks, I think it's this red part which comes off first at the top. It's all kind of barrels, so I think it's in. Best way to do it is kind of hold that steady with one. Where's the bottom? Wasn't the bottom, that was the top. There we go, this top should just twist off. Don't want to lose that spacer either. Okay, and the rest of this assembly should be able to just slide off, so some sort of retaining ring there, and then a little plastic retention bit there. I'll keep that aside so I don't lose it. Now I think there are 2 ways of doing it. There is grooves in this top bit, so you can compress it down and use the top of the shock to use as that, but again, if you still got your red tool, that does fit in around, and you can use that to take it off. Some paper towels down. I've got a feeling this is going to be messy. Okay. So yeah, there is oil in there already, but it doesn't look like it's full up or anything, so I'll just empty that out. Maybe set that upside down on there for a little bit just to leak out a bit more. But what I might do is I might get another little head torch just so I can see the bottom of that and where I'm filling it to. So yeah, that's pretty much empty. I mean, you could probably clean it out if you really wanted to, but for my purposes it's probably not 100% necessary. So yeah, you probably can't see, but the thread roughly ends about there. So I'm just going to fill it all the way to that point. Don't worry too much if you put more than you need in, because it looks like there's a breather system on the threads, so any excess should come out. Okay, so that's at the bottom of the threads. Let's go ahead and put this back on. You want to make sure that you're not cross-threading everything, so set it in nicely and just do it back up. Again, if you need, probably use a driver to secure the bottom of the post, and yeah, that's pushed out any excess. Yeah, sorry, I was just saying driver through the bottom, so you can get that tightly back into place. Maybe not too tight, so that seems to just push things out. We'll reset that. I guess don't over tighten things, so there's just squirted oil all over the place. I'm hoping that's not damaged that O-ring. So yeah, watch out for overfilling on these, I guess, and over tightening. Okay, so that's one done, and all we need to do now is just reassemble everything. So it's on with the spring. I don't think there's any real way of doing these. There's a little red mark on this one, so I don't know if that's an indication of what the top is. And on with the retainer again. And then this red top cap just screwed back in. So if you ever need to replace things like the O-rings in there, that would be, I guess, how you do it as well. You just take that apart and then pull out any O-rings that you need to swap out. That does feel pretty stiff. I'll maybe take another one off and try and compare it to that one. Of course, this is probably a good time to clean the shocks as well, seeing as they're off. I'm just going to give it a light sort of dusting with that brush, I think, to remove any sort of sand and grit which is sitting about it. So if you don't really want sand and grit getting into the shock itself when you've got it apart, just in case it does start to wear down the internals. So it does certainly feel a little bit stiffer. Let's tighten that one up a little bit. Yeah, I guess you can't really see any difference in the rebound, but just feeling them, that does feel a lot softer than that one. So yeah, I'll just get on with doing the rest of these, getting everything back together. and I guess we can see how different it is. Dark outside now, so I don't think I'll be able to test it this evening. But like I said, I do have the friends printed up replacements for the bumper mount, which is just going to be a case of a couple of screws there. I think I'll need to take off that little impact bar there, and then we can mount that back on there, and mount the bumper onto there. And I think for the Granite I've actually broken this little part here as well, so he's printed me up one of those so I can replace that on the Granite. But something else he's printed me was a motor mount as well, which will fit in under the motor. Because I have read that sometimes jumps will pull the metal motor plate out, so that should kind of solve all the problems. But I'll do another video for that when I get them. I think that's probably tomorrow, and we'll see how it goes from there. So anyway, thanks for watching, and that's I guess either rebuilding, well, not really rebuilding, but refilling shocks and sorting out whatever else I did to replacing the servo. So now it's ready to run again, give or take a bumper, and we'll catch you later. Bye now.